New year, same worm, same psychopathic energy, but sore legs because we're doing Pure Bar and I am trying to look as snatched as possible for my 30th birthday next month. There's so much that has happened the last 2 weeks or however long it's been. I do want to cover a few stories and then I'm going to tell you some of the things I'm doing, people I'm hating, and whatever else is new. My name is Alex Clark. This is Poplitics, the first and only daily pop culture show from a conservative perspective. If you are not subscribed to this channel still in 2023 and yet you watch, you are musty and crusty, and that is not something you want to be in the new year. No, ma'am. Today, we're obviously talking about the Idaho killer, my theories on this man and his possible motive. Kim did her first interview over the break discussing what was going through her mind during the Balenciaga scandal. I'll discuss what I think about that. Sam Asgari, aka the ghoul Britney Spears married, is the shadiest, slimiest man, and he is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. And then I'm also going to tell you some ideas for what your New Year's resolution should be for this year. It's so good to be home. They caught the mother effing Idaho killer, and it looked like they used one of those 23andMe type sites to do it. I thought the entire time this guy was going to be a student. Like, that was always top of mind for me when I was thinking about who this person was. I was definitely thrown that he was an older student and also studying criminology, and what it looks like to me is that aside from being an obvious monster, he is such a narcissist that he thought, you know what, if I study this, I'll be able to get away with it when I do it. Unconfirmed rumors are that he was participating in Facebook groups about the Idaho 4 and posting odd questions to the group like, what do you think the motive of the killer was, and arguing with members over details on the case. Now, police haven't said if that's true, but I get the feeling this guy truly felt like he was some kind of murder expert, and I wouldn't be shocked if that's the tactic the FBI uses while interviewing him. Like, them telling him, oh, you know what, you honestly just did such a good job, and we want to learn from you. I feel like if that's the style the FBI uses to interview him, he's going to open up real quick at that. I get the impression that he wants to be the smartest person in the room. And what's an even bigger plot twist is he was studying under the woman who wrote books about BTK. She's a true crime expert. She's on the news all the time. BTK's daughter went on the news to talk about it, and she shook over it.
One of the most disturbing aspects of Bryan Kohberger's past is what he was studying, criminology, and who he was studying under at DeSales University in Pennsylvania. Dr. Catherine Ramsland, a serial killer expert who had a close relationship with serial killer BTK, even writing his autobiography.
What did you first think when you heard that Dr. Ramsland was teaching Bryan Kohberger?
Personally, my first reaction was just like my stomach churned, and I literally physically got ill knowing that there was now a connection back to Ramsland and she connects to my father. It was just a lot.
Carrie Rawson is serial killer Dennis Rader, aka BTK's daughter. BTK stands for Bind, Torture, Kill, and Rader is responsible for killing 10 people.
Do you think he may have had any sort of communication with your father?
Kohberger could definitely have had communication with my father. Well, obviously we know he studied my father in criminology classes. He probably studied him heavier since he had Ramsland as a professor. But we need to find out if there's a deeper connection. It concerns me.
A deeper connection, like if Kohberger was corresponding with BTK in prison. He would have had access because of his professor, Dr. Ramsland, who's appeared in more than 200 crime documentaries and was even on News Nation in October discussing the Delphi case.
Help explain to me the mindset of a killer living in a community where they have carried out, allegedly, this heinous act.
Well, if it is the person, the suspect that they have under arrest right now, he was married, so he would have had to have secrets.
Dr. Ramsland is known for her TV appearances, but she's not talking now. When I asked her about Kohberger, she responded, I cannot make media statements about him at this time. For Carrie Rawson, the nightmare in Idaho has now come full circle.
I want to figure out how to stop it. Like, it's hard to be the kid of this guy and live with this, you know, and then see somebody else go do this and wonder, did your dad influence him? Did your dad talk to him? Like, was he studying my father outside of academics? I mean, am I ever going to get answers to that? I don't know.
And DeSales University released a statement initially saying that they are heartbroken by the senseless tragedy. We followed up with them with more questions about Kohberger and specifically what sort of research he was doing there, but we have not gotten a response, Natasha.
I guess the killer has been going absolutely ape in jail, threatening the guards, telling them he'll cut them like he did the others, trying to expose himself and having extremely violent outbursts. His family has released a statement saying that there are no words that can adequately express the sadness they feel for the victims' families. They say they have cooperated with law enforcement to seek the truth and promote his presumption of innocence. Now, I read that his sister is a marriage counselor or something, which is very interesting. If she is any type of therapist, then obviously the number one question is, did she notice any signs that something was off with her brother? His apartment in Washington was just 10 miles from the murders. I've heard that he was fat and bullied growing up, that he had anger issues, major Ted Bundy vibes with this case so far. Two smart guys who go to college. There may be a little bit of idolization between Bundy and BTK for this guy. He's lucky the police got to him first and not Kaylee's dad, TBH. Kim Kardashian did address questions on the Balenciaga thing, and honestly, it all kind of slipped under the radar because it happened right before Christmas, which was probably by design. Ultimately, she felt like people wanted her to cancel Balenciaga and blamed cancel culture.
I think we've had enough of your jokes.
She still doesn't get it. She won't ever get it. Cancel culture is not the same as telling a company you aren't going to stand for the sexualization or abuse of children.
Balenciaga thing, it was like, everyone was like, why aren't you speaking out? Why aren't you speaking out? And I'm like, wait, I'm not in this campaign. I don't know what's happening. Let me take a minute to research this. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as I saw what everyone was seeing on the internet and the reality of the situation, I completely spoke out and gave my thoughts on child porn and completely denounced it. Mm-hmm. But because I didn't say, fuck you, Balenciaga, that's it, people got mad at that. So it's like, they're mad if I don't speak out. They're mad if I do speak out and if I don't cancel. Mm-hmm. They're just mad that if you don't cancel someone in today's society, then it's just can't, I know people talk about cancel culture and how crazy it is, but it's still happening. And so it's never been my place.
I've really had enough of her. I truly do have Kardashian fatigue right now. It's to the point where everyone in that family is just too overexposed. I want a break. I want them to pull a Taylor Swift in 2016 and hide for a year and then maybe come back completely different and rebranded with common sense. I'm tired of Kourtney dry humping in public. I'm over Khloe's Instagram pictures that are so photoshopped she doesn't even look like herself. I really do feel like this year might be the wake-up call that family needs, or maybe it'll be the wake-up call culture needs to forget these people.
I mean, are you really that mad?
Scam Asgari, the AI character married to Britney Spears, is a total creep, weirdo. I don't get why her fans defend him so much. There will never be a day when I don't think he's been in on the whole thing. And now, as of a few days ago, we find out that Britney is selling her $12 million Calabasas mansion 6 months after purchasing it. TPUSA contributor and attorney Aaron Elmore tweeted, "This is not an accident. Her husband, Sam, convinced her to sell her old house after the wedding to buy this one, making it a marital asset. The sale of this property brings Sam a financial windfall."
It was all a scheme.
Dana White was caught on video punching his wife in the face on New Year's Eve. Some have come to his defense saying she hit him first, but let me tell you something. A man cannot hit a woman unless he is fighting for his life, which I don't believe was the case here. It's not an equal hit. A man is always going to be stronger physically. They should have been escorted out of the party and had police talk to them before sending them home in an Uber. And by the way, I don't care that he's conservative. Trash is trash. And I have been asked before, why don't you have Dana White on and interview him on The Spillover? And that's because I can't stand that entire industry. Everyone gives me the ick, him included. Many of you will disagree with me, and that's fine, but it is what it is.
Cocaine isn't cheap.
Guess what? It is Wednesday, and it's the first week of the new year, which means there's no better time than now to see what's good.
What's good?
Some Florida kids got to see their favorite garbage man again after a 4-year absence when city officials saw an old video of them all playing together. For years, Tony Parker from the City of Orlando garbage collection would arrive in front of the Weirnick's household, and there'd be 3 triplets waiting for him. He said every day they would come out, and if they missed me, their mother had to get in the car and circle the neighborhood until they found me. 4 years ago, the city changed his route, and the children were heartbroken to not see their favorite garbage man anymore. Right after Christmas, their mom, Carla, posted an old video on Instagram of her kids and their beloved garbage man, Tony, for old time's sake, and it went viral. The city saw it, so they scheduled a special stopover for Tony at the triplets' house so he could see them again. A couple days after Christmas, the kids got to see their old friend Tony, and they did all the things they used to do, like climb inside the cab and honk the horn. Tony even brought them City of Orlando toy dump trucks and t-shirts. I love little kids' fascination with the garbage man. It is like the sweetest thing. It brings me so much joy. If you have a toddler who loves the garbage man and you have any cute pics or videos, you've got to post it to your Instagram story and tag Politics. Now, I have to catch you up on everything I've been doing, loving, hating, eating, whatever, over the break. I watched Wednesday. I loved it. I've been listening to the soundtrack nonstop. Discovered the show Old Enough on Netflix, which is a Japanese reality show about kids under 5, some as young as 2, running errands around town by themselves to see if they can do it without help. And a new season just came out on New Year's, so you need to catch up. It's probably the most feel-good show I've ever seen. Also makes me sick how coddled and babied American kids are, which reminds me, got on a huge parenting book and podcast kick over the break, and I've decided I will be sending my future children at 7 years old to climb Mount Everest on their own. If they don't make it, no. But I am really into the idea of a more free-range parenting style and equipping kids at a young age to learn to do and go places on their own, play on their own, know their neighbors, you know, things kids did for decades and were fine, and then we stopped allowing it. Now everyone's kids are unhappy, mentally ill, fat, and antisocial. So, you know, I feel like going back towards a more old school parenting vibe suits me. And I know I don't have kids yet, and I know I will probably change my mind once I have them. I'm just thinking out loud, and I always let you know what my inner thoughts are. These are them now. Maybe in the future they will change. Fight it out in the comments. A few growth things, and I think this could be encouragement for you as well. Challenge yourself to go to a few social gatherings where you don't know anyone going at all, or you only know the host. And then introduce yourself to everyone at the party and don't rely on the host to introduce you. I did this 2 times over the break. If you're married, this is a good way to meet married friends. If you're single, this is a good way to meet married people who have single friends that can set you up or make new friends in general. You cannot expect a man to fall into your life if you refuse to do anything. You won't do the apps, you won't go to a bar, you won't go to a party where you don't know anyone, you won't join a small group at church. You have been too scared to show up to your local CUTEservative meetup, and don't even get me started on those of you who do get a date, and then day of you text him, "Don't kill me, but," and then you make up an excuse and you don't go because you're anxious. Yes, I know everything. No more whining, we're doing. Learn a new skill, go to a new place, change your routine, not only because you don't know who you'll meet, but because guess who loves predictable routines? Yep, Thumbs up this episode if you feel confident that 2023 is gonna be a year of positive personal growth for you. Tell me in the comments what your parenting style is or what you want it to be one day, and subscribe to this channel if you're not already. All of this month's spillover guests will be health and wellness focused, so if you want more wisdom on health and lifestyle changes for the better, this is your month to become a spillover fan. We're back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. It's pop culture without the propaganda every single day. I'm Alex Clark, and this is Poplitics.